It fucking is. If you've never tried morphine or heroin, try it once. Like, you'll realize what
Yep.
you'll realize how good this life can
I
get.
feel I'll tell a story and someone will hit me up like, dude, what the fuck? And I'm like,
Yeah.
what? I don't even remember.
Yeah.
You know, especially like for the first like start of the podcast, it was just me getting fucked up on a mic with my friends, and that's not good.
Yeah.
Because that's a recipe for you to just say something fucked up when you're around people you trust, but you record a conversation. It's a bad idea.
Yeah. I mean, I did a podcast with one of my buddies. He's a comic. His name's D. Keith West, and he has MS. And we were at an open mic, and we did the show. Whatever, the show ends, and then him and I just sat there and got fucking hammered. And then at the end of it, it was like 4 a.m. and he goes, "You haven't had me on your podcast yet." And I was like, "Oh, we'll figure it out. We'll schedule it." He goes, "Fuck that. Let's do it right now." And so we drove to my place at 4 a.m. both hammered, and just went for it.
It's not good, is it?
It's a pretty decent.
It was a fun one?
It was a
Okay.
fun one.
Check that one out.
I had a good time, and we mainly just talked about like him, his condition with MS, and being a comic, and
Right.
that's really what my podcast is about, is just interviewing comics, getting their perspective on what it's like,
Yeah.
because we all have different perspectives, like why we got in it, who's the inspirations and stuff like that.
I think I was talking to you last night about this, but who are your inspirations for getting into comedy?
My number one is Doug Stanhope. And then I would have to say like Christopher Titus, and then all the other big ones, Pryor, Carlin,
Right.
Chappelle, all these guys.
Hell yeah. Okay. And you started out in Vegas?
Yeah. Actually, today is my 3-year.
No,
My
really?
3-year anniversary of stand-up is today.
Holy shit. Well, congratulations. You're not dead yet,
Oh, yeah.
and you haven't quit.
And I've survived Vegas for this long, so.
Yeah, Vegas in and of itself is a wild time. Describe like some sketchy scenarios that has happened late night when you're getting fucked up.
I mean, I don't know about sketchy, but I mean, there have been a couple times where I go on like 3-day benders, with another comic, and it's notoriously him that it happens with.
Yeah.
We'll drink for 3 days, other substances, to keep us going for 3 days. That I remember it was the third day. We ended up at a casino, and we're, wandering around, and we found a wheelchair, that was just kind of abandoned. And so I sat down in it, and he pushed me around the casino for a while. And anytime somebody was in my way, I would just be like, "Get out of my way. I'm a goddamn war hero." And then he got tired of pushing me around, and so he like just stops and he goes, "Dude, I'm over this." And I was like, "We're in the middle of the casino. You've been pushing me around here for like 20 minutes." I was like, "If I just stand up right now, we're both assholes."
And you're not a war hero anymore.
Yeah. And then he just like pushed me to the exit door of the casino, and then we just ran and we left the wheelchair there.
That's how the wheelchair has been left. Like it's a perpetual cycle.
Yeah,
of other
just
people.
drunk assholes taking it around. It ends up at every exit of the casino by the end of the day.
That must be a story behind that, of a lone wheelchair vacant.
Yeah, I always wonder, because I don't remember exactly what part of the casino we found this wheelchair. You know what I mean? Like, I don't remember if it was like, outside, like waiting for somebody who's going to pull up soon, or if it was just in the middle somewhere that we found it. I just don't remember. But yeah, I hope the wheelchair found its rightful owner.
I hope you guys just didn't steal a wheelchair from a person. Like you knocked someone out of it and you tipped them out like a wheelbarrow.
Oh, that'd be fucked. I feel like I would remember that though.
That would be a core memory right there for sure.
Fucking
Damn,
intense robbery of a wheelchair.
Debaucherous times with other comics. Are those the biggest and baddest influences in your life, is other comedians?
Well, because I always want to save myself from being a piece of shit. I want to say, it's always them. They're bad influences, but
it's all their fault.
I'm probably a bad influence on a lot of them.
Yeah. Has there been any comics that you started with that don't do it anymore and they fell off because of, it could be happy shit, like good job, good relationship with a girl?
I mean, there's been a handful of them. but I, after a while, never kept in touch with them. So I don't know why they fell off. There are a couple people who will, be gone from the scene for, several months at a time and then just show up again. And then,
I'm back.
Yeah.
And they're rusty as hell,
Oh,
too.
yeah.
Oh, man, that sucks.
Yeah, because that's the thing. It's like you can't get better unless you're doing it all the time, really. Because I could take a week off, and when I come back after that week, I feel rusty. And I'm like, that's just a week. Imagine if you took, 6 months off and trying to go back. It's ridiculous.
What have you ever taken a break? A long break?
The longest since I started would have been COVID. When COVID hit, it was like a month or two, maybe. But even then, I was just getting into it. So
I love those places in New York. They're like, wait, you got to do comedy that quickly?
Yeah. And especially like LA as well. Like they shut down forever. But Vegas, it was like maybe a month, and then because they had to start, all of our business is tourists, so they had to get the casinos back up and all that. So the economy didn't crash. But I think that was the longest I went without doing it, was about a month or two. But like I said, it was right in the beginning. So taking that time off and coming back, I actually came back stronger because I had those, I had that month or so that I was doing it. And then I was able to take, a month or two off, review what I was doing, and then realize what I was doing wrong, and then come back just a little bit stronger,
Yeah, that reflection period it's necessary, but I'd say my best reflection period is like 3 or 4 days. I'm just taking my mind off it, and once I come back to it, just rejuvenates the passion for it, and you need that. There's something as hard as stand-up.
Oh, yeah. And because, like, for me at least, I have the problem of partying. I just party too much. And so a lot of the times I'll take, 2-3 days off every now and then. Like, hit it hard for 2 weeks, 2-3 days off, and then come back.
Yeah.
And it's like those 2-3 days is when I have to like reevaluate and what do you call it? Like realign what I'm doing, because you get caught up in just the partying and hanging out and stuff, and
it gets messy.
Yeah. And then when you reset, you're like, okay, there needs to be a focus here, or else I'm just some asshole talking into a microphone and then getting drunk at the bar,
Yeah, like it's been an excuse to just get fucked up.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I started 2 years ago. Pretty recently, I just hit 2 years. And it's a funny thing I say on stage, if that's just a fun way to tell people I've been an alcoholic for 700 days.
Yeah.
But yeah, with comedy, it's hard. When I first started comedy, I'd have a drink or something. I didn't go too hard back then, but you get into it. You slip into teenage Seth got awakened again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I started off like my first mic I ever did. I remember and it was a ritual that I had for the first few months that I was doing it. Is I would have a beer and a shot of whiskey before I went on stage, just because it, calmed the nerves a little bit. Because I have terrible stage fright. I really do. If I try to do a show sober, which I've done a couple times, I'm a mess. Like I can still get through my jokes and like I remember what I'm supposed to be saying, but like physically, like I don't move around. I'm very tight and tense. And there was one show I did where I literally just had started sipping on my beer, and I was on stage, and I was like, fuck, this wasn't enough. And I literally had the mic, and it was shaking in my hand. Like, my hand was shaking, and I couldn't get it to stop. And then I'm in my head thinking everybody can see this. And so
it makes it worse.
And you just spiral. Like, it wasn't a bad set, but it was like I was in my mind. It's way too much. I couldn't be in the moment.
No one notices that shit either. We are so inside of our heads that we think all of these things that people are going to notice and find odd, or even if they do notice it, it's not a big thing for them. Yeah. Because they don't have the weird psychological blocking that you do.
On the flip side, though, the audience does pick up on very subtle things sometimes. Like comics who fuck with the mic stand too much, audience picks up on that, and it distracts them a little bit. I've seen it. And then another time, when I first realized that I was fucking with the mic stand too much, and so I put it behind me, and then I would just put my hand in my pocket and take it out and put it in, because I didn't know what to do with this hand, and it was distracting. And I could tell, even just watching the videos that I took of myself, how distracting that really is.
Yeah, so a lot of the time I'm switching off a lot.
Yeah.
I'm always switching off because then you get like a grace period of 3 seconds when just having your arm out before my mind is like, no, what? Okay, no, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So now I'm just like doing a whole set like this,
Yeah.
just like alternating hands. It's weird psychological shit, or
Yeah.
even like laughing after a newer joke that you aren't sure of it working or not.
It's funny, when I was driving up here, I was listening to Rogan's podcast because he just had Louis C.K. on.
Oh, for sure. I need to fucking listen.
Yeah, and so I was listening to it, and he addressed that about laughing after a joke kind of shows insecurity in what you were just saying. Like, you're nervous about it.
Yeah, like you weren't fully behind it
Yeah,
yet.
yeah. And so, like, how is the audience going to be behind you if you're nervously laughing at your own joke? You know, if it's
Right.
organic and you say something and they're fucking laughing with you, and then you just kind of break it and you start laughing genuinely, then that it's kind of like a communal,
Yeah.
like, we're all having fun here.
Yeah, that's a very good point. It's because it just, to me, it was just the obvious thing of it just looks bad.
Yeah.
And then me watching my clips back, I'm like, why did I fucking...
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny, but don't laugh at the fucking joke. Your
Yeah.
job is to be the orbiter of the joke. So don't get out of sorts.
Yeah.
But genuine laugh, that is funny, especially in like a authentic crowd work
Yeah.
bit. If something goes off the rails, and that can be funny too. But yeah, whenever I'm so unsure of a joke, like, do you hop out of premises early when they seem like they're not working out on stage? Like,
Sometimes I've bailed out of a joke, and especially if it's like super new and you're just trying to make it work and you're like, this isn't going anywhere, and so you just move on. Sometimes I'll fucking beat it to death just to suffer up there, and I'm like, we're gonna find something here.
I'm gonna hit every corner of this box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
So
something you have to do sometimes, is just like fucking just hit every part of it and just keep hammering it. And if they're not with you at a certain point, if it's not like a booked show, if you're at an open mic and they're not with you and you're just hammering this premise, I mean, just beat it to death, because you might find something in there.
Yeah. Do you ever work shit out at like a book show at a bar? Because those, whether it's a book show, yeah, but you've been to somewhere you're like, this is a fucking open mic. This is worse than an open mic in a sense.
Yeah, I mean, there's a string of open mics that will book a feature comedian, where so they get through the list, and about halfway through, they'll throw up somebody for 15 minutes. And, like, it's paid, you know, whatever. I've had a couple of those, and some of them I really stuck to the script because it was a decent audience, and I just went for it. A lot of the other times, it's room full of comics that have heard me work this 15 minutes for 2-3 years. And so I'll maybe hit a couple, and then I'm just fucking with them. Like, I'm just talking to the comics, you know,
Right.
just keeping them engaged at the very least,
Yes.
you know. Because I don't mind bombing. You know, I bomb all the time. It doesn't matter. But it's like, I don't want to sit up there. It's almost like a creative decision to play to the audience that I have, which is mostly comics. So how do you do that? You just fuck around.
And you have to pander to any audience that you are in front of. You have to play the game that they're willing to play.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I've seen comics go up and it's a great crowd, but it's not the crowd that's working for them. Like, maybe it's a dirty crowd and a cleaner comic comes up who's like a little more clean cut and cutesy. But no, they want to go back to the dirty crowd work comic who was talking about like eating ass or something.
Yeah, yeah.
They come up and you're like, my parents are a handful.
Yeah.
Now, everyone's get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And the worst thing you can do is to pander to an audience, like, and I've seen this in like a black room. And then the comic goes up there and changes the way he talks, or, you know, whatever, how he delivers certain things. It is so transparent that they fucking hate you after that.
Yeah. All of a sudden, your white friend is from Baltimore.
Yeah.
I'm like, I never heard about this
Right.
at all.
But yeah.
But black rooms are a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. I've always
But-
done so well in black rooms.
They're pretty coveted. Like, they aren't marketed at mass out here necessarily. And sometimes they're in like a wild, sketchy place. Because it's like that. It's just like someone's backyard or something.
Really?
Yeah. Like in the hood in Phoenix. And you pull up and the address is literally like the terminal number for an airport.
Oh,
It's like, he's like, no, that's like 500 feet away if you go down this street.
I thought you were going to say the address is just Ray Ray's house.
Ray Ray's house.
I gotta find that now.
Grandma's house. There's this one comic, Jacoby, I love you, and you'll never watch this because he doesn't know how the internet works. Because he'll promote this open mic he runs, and we know where it is and when it happens. Yeah. But every time he promotes it, it just says comedy, 7 to 9 p.m. And there's a picture of him like, where?
Yeah.
It doesn't say where.
What time?
It's just this comedy. He's like, it's going to be all around you, bro. Come find me.
That's hilarious.
7 to 9 p.m.
Yeah. We get lucky in Vegas because even these like sketchy, shows that will go on, sometimes they're still at a casino,
Oh, nice.
It's a shitty casino, but it's still a casino, in their little like event room. Yeah. There was one because they call it North Las Vegas. That's the real, ghetto part of town. And there's a casino there called the Silver Nugget. And there was a weekly show there ran by one of my favorite comics in the scene right now, Dennis Lavender. And
Dennis Lavender is such a Vegas comic name. That's crazy.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Hell yeah.
But and he would get a good crowd because he would walk around the casino and literally sell it to people who are on machines and shit, like slot machines. And he would, comedy, whatever. And he would get an audience, sometimes 20, 30 people in this little room. And it was... I feel like this is how I got, better at stage presence, and the way that I deliver shit is because with a black room, if you're not confident in what you're saying, they'll jump on you and they'll heckle and they'll start talking. That
shit where you're laughing at your own joke.
Yeah. And they'll start talking amongst themselves, making each other laugh, and then you're just a like background noise. Mm-hmm. But it's like if you get up there and you're confident and you hit every mark, like it's gonna work. Then they're, even if they don't laugh, they're still on your side.
Yeah.
They're like, all right, he's doing his thing up there, so we're not going to attack him.
But if they get you with a good heckle, that's an obscure reference that everyone understands. Like, he's got the feet of a Teletubby, and everyone knows what they meant, and they'd start dying. I'm like, no, this is my time. But you have to be confident and have something to bounce back. And, if you're scared to make fun of black people, then... you're definitely racist. You're definitely, in the back of your head, you're worried that you're going to overstep a line.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all right. Overstep the line.
Only enough.
Only enough, obviously. Yeah, I'm not telling.
Don't have a full-blown Kramer moment.
I've been watching a lot of Seinfeld recently, and it's just, he's really growing on me.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, that happened, so I heard about him saying wild shit on a stage doing comedy. But now that I'm watching Seinfeld, dude, he is lovable.
I mean, he is, yeah. His whole character on that show, he's one of the favorites,
Imagine being excited to go out to that show that night. You're like, dude, Kramer, this is going to be such a fun fucking time. Michael Reeves is the best.
And the worst thing about that clip, that always sticks in my... Well, obviously, all the N-bombs that he dropped. But when he fucking shouted into the balcony where the hecklers were, he goes... If this was X many years ago, I could have bought and sold you. I was like, oh, that one for some reason has always stuck with me. That's so, it's worse than just dropping the N-bomb,
That is what, yeah.
It's just something so fucking, I don't know. It was just so fucked up to hear.
Damn. Great. He's not working anymore, I guess.
No, I haven't heard anything about him.
He must have a regular job somewhere.
Right.
That
We're just
really
living off the
suck.
Seinfeld money,
Oh, you're right. He's probably still getting bags off of Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking Kramer.
It is very fun. If you've never seen that clip, it's everywhere on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you watch any World Star Hip Hop Fight compilations?
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah.
All
Some
the time.
people don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
I mean...
Of course. You get 12 Heinekens in, you're pretty much a black man at that point. Dude, you drank a 12-pack at the bar.
Yeah. And the fucked up part about it is I'm getting to that point where I'm not getting drunk. It's like, you were hanging out and talking to me by the end of the night.
No, you were coherent. You were there and cogent.
Yeah. I was playing pool and I was doing well. Like, everything was like, nothing is bad. But when I got my tab, they were like, 12, right? And I was like, yeah, probably. She probably upcharged me maybe 1 or 2, but it's not far off of there.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Damn, dude.
I'm not proud of it.
Isn't that like $60 in a Heineken?
Yeah. that was my tab last night.
60?
Yeah.
On fucking damn.
It's fucking
Yeah.
ridiculous. But
That is wild.
I can't switch to liquor because if I switch to liquor, I drink it at the same rate that I would drink a beer, and then I just get fucking hammered.
Yeah.
You know, by the end of the night because I'm not pacing myself. I don't realize how quick I'm going. But with a beer, I can just, you know,
How many times do you piss?
No, fucking every 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Constantly.
I thought there was something wrong with my prostate. I talked to my doctor about it. He goes, well, how much alcohol do you drink? And I was like, like a 12-pack a night. He goes, yeah, you're going to piss all the
The
time.
problem is your kidneys and liver now. It's not
Oh, yeah.
your prostate. I do worry about prostate cancer sometimes, though.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I worry about my fucking kidneys. I remember a couple of weeks ago before I came out here, I'm just standing at the back of the bar at an open mic, and my buddy's standing next to me, and I just leaned over to him. I was like, my fucking kidneys hurt today. And then I just walked away, and he's just sitting dying laughing. He goes, yeah, because they know how much I drink. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. From the outside, you don't look like the one to do that.
Yeah.
Like an American Neville, almost.
Yeah.
From Harry Potter. But yeah, you weren't one to really party. Did you party much before you got into comedy?
When I was in high school, I partied a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you graduate on time?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
I was on morphine when I graduated high school.
No.
Because I had a real bad addiction throughout high school. And I remember during my graduation, I was fucked up. And at one point, you know, because I'm just zoning out, at one point I realized that they're getting down the line and it's getting closer and closer to me of these people walking up. And there was a moment because I'm sitting there and I go, oh shit, I have to walk in a minute. And I don't know if I can.
Yeah.
Because that's how, like, I was just melting into this chair. And then they called my name, got up, and I was fine. I made it all the way back and I sat down. Maybe a couple minutes go by and I go, oh shit, I'm going to have to walk soon. And I was like, oh no, wait, I already did that.
Oh shit.
I was like, I was just not there, dude.
You got 15 diplomas that day.
Yeah, right? I just kept walking up. Any Mexican name they called, I was like, yeah, fuck it, that's me.
Yeah. Celia, what? No. Get off stage.
But yeah, so, you know,
Yeah.
I had a big problem with that.
When did you kick the morphine?
I was like 20 when I finally kicked it, so it's like 7 years now. I think about it all the time, though. That's the fucked up thing about like opiates is you can be off of it. I'm almost a decade off of it. Still think about it almost every day. It's weird.
Damn.
Yeah, I have to make a conscious decision not to go buy any.
Right.
And I've been offered it a couple times, and it's weird the physical reaction I would have. It's like, oh yes, like your body gets really excited for it, but then you have to like switch that off in your mind and just go, no, I can't do that. Because I'll take like a fucking, let's say a Vicodin or something. I'll be doing heroin in a week. Like that's how quickly it can spiral. Yeah.
I've never touched this stuff, but I've always heard good reviews.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I love how you're honest too.
Yeah, man.
It's like, no, it's honestly the best thing ever. It's
really
better
is.
than breathing.
It fucking is. If you've never tried morphine or heroin, try it once. Like you'll realize
Yep.
you'll realize how good this life can
I
get.
feel like I said that last podcast somehow too. Like,
Yeah.
completely different conversation. It led to do drugs, kids. And
Yeah.
it was, God damn.
Yeah.
So, when did you start becoming a hooligan during school?
Ah, fuck. It
Like
was-
11, 12?
Yeah, it was early on, you know. I think, well, it was probably right around like 12, 13 years old. You know, started smoking cigarettes, started smoking weed, and then everything just went from there.
What cigarette? Do you remember your first cigarette?
Marlboro Reds, because that's
Ooh,
what my
Cowboy
dad.
Killer,
That's
yeah.
what my dad smoked, so I fucking stole them off of him.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and then, yeah, I mean, I've done the fucking array of drugs at this point, you know.
What haven't you done? That would be a easier list to go over.
I mean, like the cool ones, like DMT, I've never done.
No ayahuasca or San
ayahuasca.
Pedro, none of that.
No peyote.
Yeah.
I've never done that. But like meth, I've definitely had once or twice. Heroin, I tried a couple times.
You talk about it like it's an appetizer. Yeah, I tried. I had it. You know, I sent it back to the chef.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I feel like if I could have got heroin a little easier and it was easier to do at that, because I snorted it a couple times.
Okay.
So if it was easier just to like fucking like, because what I was doing with the morphine, it was the pills. And so I could just pop a pill and fucking go. But with heroin, like you'll have to like, if you're going to shoot it, like
It's
a
a
whole
hard start.
Yeah, it's a whole process. Or if you're going to snort it, it's like, It's just a process. But morphine was easy, and I got it for free for almost 3 years, completely free.
What?
Might implicate certain people, so I won't use any names.
Got you.
But my buddy used to steal it from his uncle, who was an amputee, like missing legs and shit. And so he would steal them from him.
That's where you got the wheelchair.
And
No.
yeah, right. So yeah, I got it for free for a long time,
Damn.
and that's probably why it spiraled out of control. Because if I had to pay for it, I'd be like, no, fuck,
It's a good deal.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So
yeah, for 3 years it was free, and then when you were finally like, I can't do that anymore, did you have to discommunicate from that friend, or?
no, he's still one of my closest friends to this day. Yeah. Anytime I'm back in Texas, we hang out.
Okay.
But no, it was just one of those things where I just told him, I was like, I don't want any more. Like, don't give me any more. And then it was a long process to get off of it because withdrawals are fucking terrible.
Those are some of the worst withdrawals, right?
Yeah. You feel like you're dying, like literally. And then you have those pills and you're like, it's so easy to stop this.
Yeah.
And so it took me a little like back and forth. Like I would get off like a day or two and then just pop another one because I couldn't take it. And it took me a while of this push and pull. I was on like 2 or 3 a day at my worst.
Damn. How many milligrams is that?
I don't remember what it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, it got real bad where one day I was with my high school girlfriend at the time and she's like super sweet, innocent, top of her class or whatever. And she's dating.
This poor girl.
And I'm just a fucking degenerate.
Yeah.
And so we're standing in a Walmart at a kiosk, and she's like trying to print out pictures of her baby brother. And again, it's all this wholesome shit. And I'm standing there and I am sweating, just profusely. And then I get really nauseous and I break away from, and this is like I pop 2 or 3 at this point. So it's all hitting me.
Wow.
And so I told her, I'm just going to go to the bathroom real quick. And I tried not to make it obvious that I'm going to fucking puke. So I just walk away very slowly. I get to the bathroom. As soon as I opened the door, I ran to a stall and just puked violently for a while. And then after I calmed down, there's a dude in the stall next to me that just goes, you all right, bro? and I'm just like, at that point, I just started laughing at how ridiculous all this was. But like I've just been in those situations where I was out in public and it just, probably on the verge of an OD, because I took so much.
Yeah, it's where like you can still function, but your body's literally shutting down on you in real time. Yeah. And when you're in public, that shit sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like find the nearest bathroom and try not to make it obvious.
Right. I remember one time I was getting in my car after hanging out with my friend at his place. And he lived like right down the street from me, so I'm like, I got this. Yeah. And then I got in my car. He's like, no, bro, like for sure, like you can sleep here. You're good. Yeah. Like if you need somewhere to stay, you can just take a nap real quick. I'm like, nah, I promise, man, I promise. It's like, all right, let me check your like headlights and brake lights. Let me make sure everything's like working
so you don't get pulled over.
I'm like, dude, this motherfucker. I started feeling a little nauseous while he's like doing all the things. He's like, all right, let me check the brake lights. I'm like, okay. I'm like starting to sweat a little bit. And then I throw up. I have nothing in my car to like catch it in, like no cups. Yeah. So I'm just like, fuck. It's like in my mouth. And I'm like, and then he comes back up to the window and like, and he's just talking to me. And I'm like,
just holding it.
I just opened up the door and I was like, because it wasn't me throwing up. It was just, I just let go of it. And he's like, what was that? Yeah, I'm gonna sleep on your couch.
Yeah, there you go.
So I've been doing that a little bit too much lately. It's just like taking a nap on someone's couch, waking up at 5 a.m. and being like, all right, let's go home.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Honestly, sometimes like with me, I am more fucked up after I try to go to sleep. You know what I mean? It's
that is
like
so weird, but yeah.
If like you're on the roll of the night and you're still awake, it's like, yeah, I'm coherent enough. Like, let me just get home real quick. But if I pass out for like an hour or two just to try to sober up, I wake up and I'm even more fucked up.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work that way. Like, I'll have to sleep like a good 10 hours to be all right.
Damn. How many hours a night do you get sleep?
On average, it's, I've had insomnia for a little while. So it's like I'll get like 3-4 hours of sleep a night, and it's not good sleep either. And then I just can't, for some reason, like it just started happening recently, like the last couple months. I don't know what the reason is. And then I'm like taking a bunch of like melatonin and these are the moments. These are the moments where I'm like, morphine would be great right now
Yeah.
because I could pop one and go to sleep.
Yeah, immediately you would be knocked
Yeah.
out. But then again, that's a whole.
Yeah, then
Yeah.
that's a different road that I'm
Some
going
people
down.
can just like lay on their back and just close their eyes and
Yeah.
boop into sleep dreamland.
It's crazy to me.
I hate that shit. I can't. I don't get those people.
Yeah, I have to be like,
Yeah.
it's hard to sleep sober. Like it really is. Like even sometimes I'll just have like a couple beers, maybe a shot real quick, and it'll help me kind of wind down and go to sleep. I've started smoking weed a little bit recently,
Hell yeah, dude.
like high CBD strains, because that helps me go to sleep. But yeah, the people who can just fucking drink coffee all day, not do anything else, and like you said, just lay there and pass out, like fucking, they're aliens to me.
Jesus. What's your sleep position like? Like all over the place?
It pretty much.
Like on
I
your
do.
side a little bit?
I do sleep on my side a lot, on my left side.
Do you have like an arm under your head?
Yeah, sometimes. And then, but sometimes I sleep in a weird position, you know, like where you cut off circulation.
Yeah.
And you wake up and your fucking hand is numb. So
That's scary to me. Yeah.
So yeah, it is what it is. And cuddling is the worst. Like trying to sleep when you're like spooning a woman, because you know I have a girlfriend.
Or whoever you're into.
Yeah.
You know?
Man, woman, child. No, I'm just
Dogs.
kidding.
Yeah. But yeah, cuddling is. I run hot. Like I'm always just like steamy. I'll just run hot.
Yeah.
So immediately I'm just sweating if I cuddle someone. Then they're like, ew, it's gross. I'm like, well, bitch, you asked for this.
Yeah. And my girlfriend runs hot, so sometimes like it's kind of good sometimes because it's like I don't want, you know, face full of hair and, you know, trying to cuddle up in uncomfortable positions, because she runs hot and then she'll like fucking sweat on me and stuff. So I'm like, ew, get away from me.
There's no worse feeling than waking up from a nap and you're just sweaty.
Yeah.
That happens
drenched.
a lot.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I hate drenched. I hate that.
One of these days, like, because when I left my hotel, I turned off the AC unit just because it was decently, you know, cold in just in general. And so I just turned it off. I went, you know, drinking all this stuff. I get back in at like 2, 3 a.m. and I was exhausted. And I ended up laying on my bed and I was just on my phone, still in my full jacket and everything, shoes on. And I fell asleep like that. And then I woke up and I was just sweating inside my jacket and shit. I was like, oh, why did I do that? My shoes are on and everything.
A sweaty jacket is the worst fucking. That's the worst feeling.
But it was probably one of the best nights of sleep that I've gotten in a while. Like I was just so exhausted.
Maybe that's the trick. Yeah,
just
head
be
to toe.
nice and cozy.
Babe, I need to wear my dunks to sleep. Those are your slippers. Fuck yeah, sleep is a big problem for me. I haven't really done much of the melatonin, just because I've heard that it makes you sleep longer, too.
Yeah.
So I don't know how long I'm gonna be locked up for.
Yeah, but it's not like a, you know, not like a fucking painkiller or something, or like an Ambien where it like keeps you down and like you will never wake up. You know, it's like if you take some melatonin, set an alarm, it'll wake you up.
Okay.
You might be a little groggy, but it'll wake you up.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Your voice seems like it's a morning voice all the time.
Yeah.
Like it's about to break out of it at any moment.
No.
Have you always had a lower voice?
Yeah. Yeah, and both my brothers have same voice as me, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know where we get it from, because my dad doesn't really have a like deep voice, but I don't know.
Your mom.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, your mom's got the voice. Yeah.
My mom just sounds like me.
Yeah.
That'd be terrifying.
Are your parents still together?
Nah.
Oh, okay.
No, they divorced when I was like 18, something like that.
Oh, that's a good age to do that.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and that's the fucked up thing, but it's like with the relationship they had, we anticipated it since I was young. You know, we even had, because I have, there's 5 of us kids. Okay. I'm the middle child of 5. And we would have little, you know, sibling meetings and be like, if it happens, like, what are we going to do? You know, because we always anticipated it. But they just stuck around for this long, and I don't know why.
Right.
But yeah, they separated.
I bet they were like until the last one graduates high school,
Yeah.
and then they got close, and you graduated, and they're like, he's on morphine, good enough.
Yeah. Like we didn't completely fuck it up.
Yeah.
No, but they kicked me out of the house when I was 16, So
Oh, because of the drug use or
it was
shit?
well, they didn't know everything that I was doing, but my dad caught me with weed, and it was just. But
that's when it's over.
I guess because he never.
Hardcore.
But he never knew about anything else, So once he saw the weed, it was like
probably would have just killed you.
Yeah, right.
You'd have the morphine. You're just like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, we have to old yeller you.
We're gonna fucking gotta put you down.
We're putting you down, buddy.
But yeah, but
so
I wasn't.
Kicked you out for weed. How much weed was it?
Not much, like a little baggie and a little pipe that I had, that I would roll around with.
Fucking ridiculous. Dude.
But I wasn't like a good kid, I
Yeah.
would get into trouble. Like cops in my neighborhood knew me,
Oh, was it kind of a smaller town?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Where'd you grow up?
Well, a little bit. I grew up in Chicago, and then we went from there to a small town in Texas.
Oh, so that's why you have a lot of homies over in Texas.
Yeah, and that's
okay.
why my family lives over there now. Like all my siblings live down there.
Oh, so no one's out in Vegas with you? It's just you solo dolo?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, me and my chick. That's it.
How'd you meet your chick?
I met her while I was living in California.
Damn, you've been all over, bro.
Yeah. And
So Chicago, you're born, and then Texas is like high school era.
born in Michigan.
Oh my god.
Grew up in Chicago, like high school in Texas, and then when I did, because I got kicked out, like I said, when I was 16, and I lived on the streets for like 2 months.
Damn.
And then my brother eventually picked me up, and so I lived with him and finished out high school, and a couple years after that, and then I dated a chick. She was older than me. We worked at the same restaurant. Dated her for 8 months, and then she told me she had herpes that she had been keeping from me. Like she never told me about it, nothing. And I'm 20 years old, and she was like almost 30. Like she was significantly older than me, and it just kind of destroyed my whole. Like I thought my life was over, thinking that I could have herpes, and so.
Is that treatable? It's pretty well treatable, right?
For the most part.
I'm asking for a friend.
Yeah.
I looked at his dick. It's crazy right now.
It's manageable, but you still like, flare-ups and stuff like that.
Did you get...
I don't have it.
Okay, cool.
I found out like a year later that I didn't have it. So I sat with the panic for a year because I was just too afraid to go find out.
I would be too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go in and get a test after someone tells you something like that.
Yeah. And then so after she told me that, 2 of my buddies had already been planning to move to Colorado. And so after that night when she told me, I drove to their house, and I'm fucked up about it. We're hanging out and talking, and one of my buddies convinced me to move out there with him. He goes, I'll help you out, whatever you need, get a job, start paying rent, whatever. And so I dropped my entire life in a week and moved out to Colorado with him. Damn. Like I broke up with her, quit both my jobs, and then told my brother, who I was in a lease with, that I was just going to leave. And he was like, go. Like he didn't even hesitate. He was like, you need to get the fuck out of here.
Damn.
And
were you being a problem, like being the roommate with him? Like, are you not a good roommate with your brother at the time?
No. I had straightened up a little more since then. Like I wasn't so, because I was working 2 jobs at that point, and finished up school and stuff like that.
Keeps you busy, yeah.
Yeah. So I wasn't getting into too much shit, and I always paid rent.
That's good.
I'm a decently clean person as well, so it wasn't bad. And then I lived in Colorado.
Moved to Colorado, like Denver, Boulder.
Just north of Denver.
Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
and got into the weed industry out there. I used to make dabs, so concentrate, THC, stuff like that. And then that company moved me out to Santa Barbara in California, which is a really nice area. I could only live out there because they were paying me a salary and then paying for my housing. So it's like I didn't pay rent
Damn.
the whole time I was there.
What'd you even do for them?
The same thing, concentrate, THC and stuff.
Okay.
And then I would have to do, this is why I eventually left, is because there were a couple times that they would have me go make deals, like $20,000, $30,000 deals in the parking lot of a Dunkin' Donuts to some dude that my boss never met and I had never met. So it's like I'm riding around with fucking 20 G's on me, finding some dude that I have no idea who he is. And it's like, I kept telling them, I was like, this isn't what I signed up for coming out here.
Yeah.
And they're like, we need to do it. Like, because the production was kind of slow at, getting the startup. And they were like, we need somebody to do this. I was like, fucking, can we do something else or get me a gun or something so I could protect me?
A gun.
I was like, I'm going to get robbed out here,
Yeah, like they pay for your housing and the salary. They should throw in a Glock 20.
I think so.
That's fair.
Give me a 357.
Or at least a body cam.
Something.
So they can watch you getting shot.
Yeah. Fucking laugh at my dumb ass for taking the job.
A live stream of it, yeah.
But yeah, so that's why I
That's
eventually...
a wild-ass position. How long were you doing those parking lot meetups for this company?
For a while. It was like a year, I think. Maybe a little less. But yeah, after I did so many of those, I was just like, this is getting sketchy.
Yeah.
And so I told them, I was like, fuck this. I'm going to go move to Vegas. And because it was the closest state with, legal weed.
True.
So once I moved out here, I got right into the industry again. And I have for somebody as young as I am, I have 6 years of experience in the weed industry, which not a lot of people have, because it's relatively new.
Yeah.
But I have 6 years experience in 3 different states,
Damn.
So I could always go back to that industry, but fuck that. It's not all it's cut out to be. You don't get paid nearly as much as you think you would,
No. I mean, that's like real drug dealing too.
Yeah.
It's kind of pie in the sky all the time of you never make the money you think you're going to make selling any drugs. And when you do start making a little bit of money, you don't hold on to it the way you thought you would.
Yeah.
Because immediately the money doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Immediately you realize, oh, this just makes me more of what I am right now.
Mm-hmm.
And right now I'm a greedy piece of shit.
Yeah.
So seeing 10
so you
grand
always want
instead
more
of,
and more. Yeah.
You always want more. And I'm not a huge shopper. But the one time in my life that I actually had a little bit of money, I would just go out fucking splurging on shit that I will never wear or even fit into. Sometimes I would buy shoes the wrong size.
Just because fuck it.
Because they're cool.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll find someone with that shoes. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
I'm not meant to have money. I'm meant to be broke for the rest of my life.
I think so too. Like with me, I'd fucking blow it all on alcohol and pussy. Like that would be everything for me. Like my addictions will take hold because I have a very addictive personality. Like to the point where, it's self-detrimental. Like it could ruin my life.
Oh, absolutely. Do you think that, this is a dark question. I ask myself this sometimes. Do you think that you're going to see success in comedy first or death? Because some people see death before true success, and then posthumously people look back on this artist and whatever they do, especially with rappers, and they're like, oh, wow, he was actually like really good.
Yeah.
And he had something going on, but now he's dead.
Yeah.
And that is a very scary thing to think about, but you're 27 right now, so you're beating that club.
Yeah. I've always seen myself as like the Mitch Hedberg route. Where it's like right when I start to get that, and I'll see the beginning of it.
Sad.
I've always said that I'll probably see the beginnings of my success, and then I'll fucking go off the rails and die of an overdose. It might happen.
And the saddest part is that everyone will say, "Oh," because they, in the back of their head, that's what kind of like with your parents getting divorced.
Yeah. It's they always knew it was coming.
Yeah, they expected it to happen way sooner.
Yeah.
And they're like, dude, he just landed an SNL audition. Like, he's doing all this shit. His special's coming out. And then he dies. And you're like, I thought he changed.
Yeah.
Damn.
Because that's the thing. Like, with everybody who knew Mitch Hedberg, they were like, because he was a big heroin guy. And they were like, he's brilliant and he was on his way up, but he just couldn't stop. And I feel like that's what people will say about me when I die. Is like he just couldn't stop.
Star burns a little too bright. Turns into a supermassive black hole.
Yeah, but no. Hopefully I can stay with, or my kidneys will just shut down. With as much as I drink, like it doesn't even have to be drugs. It'll just be like
good old fashioned Americana drink.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
The fucking engine will just be like, we can't fucking run this high.
Like a biplane engine just shutting off.
It's like that old piece of shit Pontiac that I used to have. it'll sputter at a red light and start smoking.
Jesus Christ. Was that your first car as a Pontiac?
Yeah.
What year?
2005 Pontiac Bonneville. It was a nice little car, but it was a piece of shit, dude. I spent more trying to fix the car than I did buying the car.
That's insane. How much was the initial purchase?
Like 1,500.
Yeah. My first car was 1,100 and shit.
Yeah.
Same shit.
It's a piece of shit.
The repairs would have been $6,000.
Yeah, but I try to do a lot of it myself. Like the fuel pump went out. And so I did all my research, bought a fuel pump off of some, auto parts website, and did the labor myself. And the access to the fuel pump was in my trunk. And so I'm like inside of this trunk with an exposed gas tank, fumes and everything, just breathing it in, just trying to get this shit in there. I got it to work, but then my fuel gauge didn't work. Because whatever the little floater that's on the fuel pump, it broke off into my gas tank. And I was like, all I need is for this bitch to run. So I didn't even care.
How did you know you're running out of gas?
You
felt it in your bones?
I ran out of gas a couple of times, and then I did the little odometer, like the trip setting, and I was like, okay. And I filled it up, reset the trip, and then drove it around until I completely ran out of gas, and it was like 200 miles. I was like, okay, now every time I fill it up, I'll do the trip setting so I know how much more I can go.
This is the trashiest fucking thing I've ever heard.
Dude, I grew up.
Not only did you wanted to save money, but a lot of people who save money waste time.
Yeah.
They exchange the fuck out of that.
Yeah.
Those people who will just like be on hold for 25 minutes just for a 50-cent refund.
Yeah.
You're petty, bro.
It's ridiculous.
That is so fucking funny.
But doing that whole thing, like staying on hold for 50 cents, is definitely different than repairing my car myself.
Yeah.
It took a lot of time, and I fucked other things up in the car, but I got it to run because I had, like I said, 2 jobs at the time. Like I needed to keep going. I wasn't gonna end up on the streets again.
Right.
That's what always keeps me going, is the fear that I'll be homeless again. It is a real fear.
What was that like when you were 16?
Weird. I got kicked out of 3 places in a month. So first was my parents' house, and then I was crashing with my buddy. Like I said, the guy who got me the morphine for free. We've been friends for a long time.
So was that a crazy setup?
He lived at his parents' house, obviously. He was 16 years old. So he would just have me come into the house at night while they're asleep and fucking let me crash with him. And then eventually his mom realized how often I was there, and she goes, he can't fucking stay here anymore. And then she like yelled at me, yelled at him, and kicked me out. Damn. And then I was dating a chick at that time, and I would sneak into her bedroom at night just so I had a place to sleep. And eventually her mom walked in while I was still there and fucking, kicked my ass and threw me out. And then after that I was sleeping at a park for a long time. But I was going to school every day because we were on like that free lunch thing. So I got free breakfast and free lunch. So I knew I could eat at least twice a day if I kept going to school. And so that's what kept me going.
Damn.
Yeah.
So you're initially kicked out of the parents' house. The first night you're kicked out, you hit up your friend and you sneak in.
Yeah.
And then after you're kicked out of the friend's house, how many days was it until they noticed?
Until, what do you mean?
Like his mom noticing that you're just around in the mornings?
It could have been like a week or 2.
Damn.
I think it was like that long.
So you were sleuthy.
Yeah. We were good about it.
And then the girlfriend, that is very funny. That was probably so romantic to her.
Yeah, right.
It's like, he's like Aladdin. He's just a poor homeless kid.
Just trying to get by.
With the heart of gold. And you're like, nah, babes, I'm an addict. Yeah.
Yeah.
The addict mindset is hilarious because for me it's like not liking myself while also being the center of attention.
Yeah. I mean, but that's part of it, of being the center of attention, is not wanting to, be alone with yourself too long.
Yeah.
So you got to talk to people. You got to get out of your own bullshit. And that's the same with the, hardcore addictions. It's like, I don't want to be left alone just right here. Mm-hmm. So let me go somewhere, let me pop a pill, let me get high, smoke some weed, Yeah. That's how it works. Trust me, I've dealt with this my entire life.
Yeah.
It's a fucking...
Have you ever gone to a rehab or no?
No. No. I've always done it myself, which is probably dangerous, especially trying to get off morphine, because
Yeah,
like
dude.
nobody really knew about it, except a handful of buddies and stuff.
So you weren't working at the time when you got clean off morphine?
No, I was working at the time.
You had a job
Yeah,
while trying to quit?
Yeah,
What?
yeah, I was working at a restaurant too,
That's
so it's
insane.
like I'm fucking dying every day, like just trying to get clean. But eventually you get through it. And then it took some days off. Like I would just call into work, just feeling like shit. And it wasn't a lie. Like I told them I'm sick, and they're like, okay, don't come in. And they didn't know that I'm just trying to get clean.
Yeah.
I was literally dying. Yeah.
Fuck, dude.
It's been a crazy ride.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's been fun though. I got stories like a motherfucker.
Were you showering when you were still going to school, living at the park?
Not really.
How'd you?
It was like whore bathroom, or what do they call
Whore bathrooms?
No, like whore showers where you get like
horse bath.
where you get like baby wipes and shit. Just try to stay clean. I think maybe one time I was able to, or a couple times able to take a shower like at my buddy's house if his parents weren't there, or my girlfriend's house if her parents weren't there.
Yeah.
Like sneak one in real quick.
Yeah, comedy seems like the right decision for you.
Yeah.
Because like, what else would you do? I ask myself that sometimes when I'm just not very passionate of stand up at that time. I'll just tell myself, what the fuck am I gonna do besides this?
I mean, I'm pretty lucky because I do have a resume for the weed industry, like a legit. It's 6 years of experience that not a whole lot of people have. So I could always go back to that industry if I wanted to. It's just because when I first got into that industry, I was like, this is the best job in the world. Working with weed all day, fucking everybody's a stoner. I was able to smoke, and fucking get high at work, and nobody gave a shit, as long as you were still functional. And I was like, this is the best job in the world, and I love it. And then I did stand-up, and I started doing stand-up more and more, and I was like, I fucking hate my job. I was like, this is the best job. Like, this is all I want to do now, And so, like, my focus at work started to diminish because this is all I'm thinking about, And so, if this really doesn't pan out and I fucking, burn out or can't continue, then I'm probably just going to go back to that industry.
So if you Kramer out,
Yeah.
That is a stand-up comics form of the Icarus tale.
Yeah.
He's such a star, a heckler just burns him up.
Yeah.
Like that, and then
That's
he's like,
crazy.
"I can." Yeah.
It's fucking wild.
That is the Icarus.
But
tale.
do you think you could ever get to that point where somebody can push your buttons, like a heckler can do that to you, where you forget that there is a level of decorum you have to be on this stage?
Yeah. I've always. I really want to do comedy with guns because it's one of the funniest things I can imagine. Is just like a heckler, instead of being witty or funny about it, be like, "Hey, what the fuck?" Like no humor behind it at all. Having bodyguards walk up like, "Do we have a fucking problem?"
Yeah.
It's like an honest, like, stop the show.
Have you seen that? There's a
Public execution right now.
Just fucking take him to the
Working
guillotine.
it out, okay?
Have you seen that clip? It came around recently. I don't know who the comic was, or but it was some like Detroit or some shit. And this big black comic is on stage and he's going off, whatever. And a heckler starts saying some shit and saying like, I'm gonna smack you like Will Smith or some shit. And the dude starts coming up to the stage like he's gonna hit the comedian. And the comic just pulls up his shirt and he's got a fucking gun right there. And he just flashes the gun at the dude, and the dude just turns around and walks away. And he goes, "You ain't bringing that bullshit over here, bro." And the dude just left. I was like, hell yeah. Like,
Fuck yeah,
that's
dude.
what I want to do, is just always have a piece on me. Just so it's like, yeah, storm the stage. I'll just show you.
One time, speaking of black rooms in Arizona, we have pretty loose gun laws in the Southwest.
Yeah.
So at this one open mic, it's like the seedy biker bar, but it's a black biker group.
Yeah.
So, and in there's always one crazy white boy, like the classic Chappelle bit.
Yeah.
And that crazy white boy was like the bodyguard, but he was like a skinnier, smaller dude. And the kid on stage, my friend Nick, he was just laying in on this white guy, just being like, I bet like his lullabies have the N-words in there. He was saying some bullshit. And the white guy's like, "Bro, you better fucking stop." And he's like, "Or what? You'll shoot me?" And the guy pulls out a gun and puts it on the table. And Nick's like, oh, that's my time. I've been.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everyone's like, yo, chill, yeah. And then, yeah, he tried to fight him later on, and then that was the end of that open mic. Not because like cops were called or anything. It's just because the runner was like, I don't want to see a comedian killed.
Yeah.
And not even a comedian, an open micer. Like someone who's
how tragic
just
is
figuring it out. Even if they're pretty good, like 4 years in.
Imagine
we're
that.
still figuring it out.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm not a paid professional at this at all.
Yeah.
And I get shot for free. Fuck,
After
man.
finishing a fucking shift at the grocery store, you just want to make some people laugh, and you get fucking shot.
Like, dude, I serve breakfast
Yeah.
at, I'm a waiter. I just getting shot over a dick joke is the funniest fucking way to go out, though.
It's just not worth it.
So we're at 57 minutes. Do you want to plug anything? Plug your podcast?
Oh yeah. You can follow me on Instagram, _Hernandez_comedy. I don't post a whole lot on Instagram. It's usually shows that I'm on or, whatever. And then my podcast, you can find it on YouTube. The YouTube channel is called Seriously Inappropriate. The podcast is called The Whitest Mexican You Know. And yeah, it's a fun time. It's a lot of local, kind of the same shit, just comics talking shit, stories and all this. I had a couple guys from Texas who were in Vegas. And yeah, it's just a lot of Vegas comics. And
hell yeah, man.
if you're coming around Vegas, dude, then we'll fucking get into my studio.
Where can I find the podcast at?
Just YouTube.
Just YouTube, gotcha.
YouTube, yeah. I was going to do the whole Spotify thing, and I got lazy with it.
It's just a whole extra step. And hey, guys, if you really want a Spotify podcast, just comment enough. Make it
Right.
make actual impressions that you'll listen to it.
Yeah, engagement.
I'll put in the work. It's just that YouTube is the easier way to clip with growth and the thumbnail shit. Like, I've had a couple shitty Photoshop thumbnails I put together on Snapchat or something.
Yeah.
And it changes
Yeah.
a little bit. Whereas Spotify is more for people with a following.
Yeah. And the biggest thing, it's like, if you're fucking a fan of especially low-level podcasts like this, fucking do some engagement. Fucking hit
Please
the like
and subscribe, dude.
subscribe. Even just leave a comment because that helps us. Like,
I do comedy at a non-profit right now.
Yeah.
It's fucked up. Yeah. We are in the red for the past 2 years, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been in the red longer than that.
Yeah,
but
he's been in the red for, it seems, his whole life.
Yeah. I'm in the yellow at this point, just trying to get back.
Yeah.
Oh,
dude,
man.
yeah, you're doing the odometer trip thing on your life. You're like, well, okay, 13 was too many beers.
Yeah.
It's 12. That's a perfect
12,
number.
Yeah. It's like more than anything, it's just running up those tabs, man. It's like when I get the check at the end of the night, it's like $100. I'm like, Jesus, I can't keep doing this.
Yeah.
And that's why I take advantage of, like, there's one mic on Mondays that they have it's at a gay bar, which already I get free drinks there.
Ayo.
But also they have a buy one get one draft beers, and then after 8 p.m. they go to fucking $20 all you can drink until midnight. That is the most dangerous
place.
place.
That's a challenge.
Oh yeah.
that's a threat.
Because first of all,
I come from.
because then first you calculate, okay, how many beers do I need to drink for the $20 to be worth it?
It's about 5.
And then you got to drink more than that.
You're like, okay, I have to drink 7 or 8 to make it worth my while.
Exactly.
Like, no, you're good.
Yeah.
You don't have to.
Yeah, that place is dangerous for me.
Bro, and at a gay bar too, those
yeah.
get rowdy as fuck.
Oh yeah.
People think that gay bars are like nice, quaint places. I'm like, no.
Oh, that's debauchery right there. Like
it
everybody's doing coke in the bathroom. Fucking, I've every day or every week that I'm there, at least one dude comes up to me and just goes, "Can I suck your dick?" I'm like, no, you can't. I wish I was gay, because if I go to any other bar, I don't have women just coming up to me going, "Can I suck your dick?" Like,
right.
If I was
You've
gay,
never caved?
No.
Okay.
I just don't think I could.
See, that shows how true addiction is. To where you're like, I mean, I could go for some morphine, but head, I mean,
right.
I just wash these pants. I don't come up with bad excuses. But thank you for coming on, man.
Hey, thanks for having me, bro.
With you. And hopefully you get home safe tomorrow, and hopefully the JP show is nice.
Dude, yeah, I'm excited for that tonight. So.
All right, man. Well, follow him on Instagram. He's a funny fucking kid. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Love you guys.